You want to introduce this thing, or am I?
About having our Ask Ashley.
I'll introduce it. All right.
What did I call you?
I think you said to Ask Ashley.
I heard ass too. It's okay.
Yeah, I think you missed a K in there.
Is that a problem?
No, well, in the first 7 seconds, it might be. Anyway.
Damn it.
All right. So welcome to episode 1 of Ask Ashley, aka the Baked Bunny.
Ask.
We are so excited to bring you back and talk a little bit of weed and answer some questions that we got sent over. So for the introduction to the show, why don't you just tell everybody who you are in case they haven't seen you on our podcast before.
So hi, my name is Ashley Hobbs. I am Playboy's Miss December 2010. I am a weed consumer and connoisseur on the side, also known as the Baked Bunny because I love to make edibles. But I also like to bake things in general. So
that's just a bonus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So we'll get things going here. What's the first question we got? And I apologize. I should have written down who sent them. I'll have to do that for the next ones.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
They can shout out to who they were. Maybe we can.
I'll go back and
put it in or something. But
yeah.
But guest number one.
Guest number one. Was a great question to start with. Kind of his question was any advice for beginners, and he said he was asking for a friend, but I think he was asking for himself. So as part of it, I thought we could just kind of go over the basics of weed,
which will help me immensely.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And it wasn't me that sent it in.
So you're the beginner. No.
Yeah.
Okay. So I obviously when you have cannabis and you have weed in your life in this new modern world, everybody goes straight to Google and they ask all the questions they have, but you get such scientific responses or very vague. So I did my own research and I put it in my own words, working. Yeah. So, just the simplest things I went with like 2 sentences each of each thing. So cannabis is a natural endocannabinoid, THC in our actual systems. So with that, you have so many different ways of consumption. To most people back in the day, they would use it as a tincture in your olden days type of medicine chest by the doctor, and they would use it for ailments. They would use it to make you feel better. So most people who try weed for the first time, if you're not 13, hanging out with your friends and smoking grass practically, you're using it to make yourself feel better. Sore joints, can't sleep, anxiety, depression, can't eat. The biggest, most common connection is cancer. But for those who are beginners, people who have never actually smoked weed before, it really depends upon your lifestyle, your tolerance to other things as to what you want to use to consume. Obviously you have flower, weed, pot, grass, whatever you want to call it, flower. Flower comes in, the most common is 3 different types of strains: sativas, indicas, hybrids. Indicas are more sleepy, in the couch. Sativas are more motivating, energetic, can be social butterflies, can sometimes cause a little bit of an anxiety, but it also can help those with depression as well. Most people look at sativas, high sativas, as like a cup of coffee. And then we have hybrids, which is a mixture of the two, half and half. Or 40-60, 80-20, depending on what the strain is. Nowadays, it gets so complex and scientific with it that people, they want a specific ratio of sativa to indica. And that way it's more of what I would consider like a balanced feel.
Sure,
so you kind of balance of effects too.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't realize, I thought all hybrids were just 50-50s. I didn't realize they were making them at percentages like that. That's cool.
Yeah. So they do
just
that
to make it to your
right.
yourself,
Yeah.
So if you've ever heard of the strain Girl Scout cookies.
Okay.
Okay, so Girl Scout cookies can lean more towards an indica side, but it is considered a hybrid. It actually is something that I would suggest to those who have really bad menstrual cramps, because the properties in that specific flower help with menstrual cramps. And then you have edibles. Edibles range from a whole plethora of things these days. You've got gummies, you got chocolates, you've got pills, you've got tinctures, which is just a concentrated amount in a MCT oil or coconut oil or alcohol base, and you just put it under your tongue. It's just it's another form of an ingestible. We have juices, there's coffees, there's syrups, there's that one is it needs its own freaking episode, honestly.
Wow. Yeah.
Personally, those are the types that I prefer. You don't get, so with flower, you get more of a headier high. You get more of the effects because of when you smoke it and you inhale it, it happens within 5 minutes that you can actually feel the effects.
Yeah.
With edibles, it can take anywhere between 45 minutes to 2 hours to actually activate and feel its effects. So if you ever have somebody that goes to that bag right there and says, this is delicious, 10, 20 minutes later, I don't feel anything, I'm going to take another one.
Which I think happens a lot to people.
Yes. And an hour later, I still don't feel anything. So I take another one. 2-3 hours later, it's like a punch to the face. Like, holy shit, I'm high. And it's not just a high, it's a high. So it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah. In that case, they would then hit you every hour. Back so you'd just be a longer high with some dips, I guess. Yeah. Not all at once, because that makes sense.
Yeah. So people who deal with, like, say, body pain, joint pain, arthritis, a lot of people with PTSD, they also have body issues, body pain as well, but it also helps to alleviate that PTSD feeling or symptoms or triggers for PTSD in a longer time span. So even though it does take that much longer to activate, those edibles or ingestibles can last anywhere between 6 to 8 hours, depending on the person's tolerance, depending on the potency of the actual product that you ingest. Everybody's actual body system is different. So I can't tell you, Beard, that it's here, take 10 milligrams. That's going to last you for 2 days.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that for sure. The one thing with THC and cannabis that we have yet to find is the same comparable to actual chemical medication that says, here, take 2, call me in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have that same effect because it's also the same natural feeling. Those who take higher chemical receptor medications, high Advils, Oxys, anything like that, their tolerances are already up here. And people come to weed saying, hey, I want to get off of this stuff. But it doesn't hit the same with the dosage that they recommend because your tolerance is so high. You have to take almost double or triple to match.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So is it, if you were taking it for body or joint pain, does it actually help relieve the pain, or you just don't give a shit?
You could do both, honestly, but it does alleviate the pain for those joints or those, like, it just, I like to call it kind of 2 birds, 1 stone. Most people feel topicals help them better than actually ingesting. Some people don't want to be high, but they want that inflammation to go away. That's where I would suggest take your CBD.
Yeah.
CBD is your question, is like every person I've talked to that's like my parents' age, 60 or above, they're like, oh, we used to get a 5-finger bag for $5 and then I'd be high forever. I don't want to feel like that. I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
CBD and the way that they have been able to take CBD out of the THC plant, which is a natural occurrence in all THC plants. It just depends on the potency of that CBD. They can pull it out and just isolate it and then put it in a product like a tincture and all you're feeling is the CBD effects, which are
Okay.
the same benefits, but without the psychoactivity.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, you get grandmas and grandpas that come in and say, my joints are sore, I can't walk, and I don't want to smoke anything. So we give them a CBD topical or a CBD tincture or a CBD chocolate, and it's the same effects, but without changing your mindset.
Yeah. And I can definitely speak to the topicals. I've used THC topicals when I have like back pain and stuff, and it is, you can't do anything better than a THC topical.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you do have to be careful with the THC topicals because you do get a little high. So you don't want to put it on in the morning on your way to work. Like if it's THC.
Wow.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
definitely felt some effects from it.
Interesting. I need those products because all the ones I've tried, they've been just transdermal. They don't go into the bloodstream for me, so I don't feel
Okay.
it.
I'll have to send you a picture of what we have. So
Yes, please. Yes.
yeah,
I like sharing. Sharing is fun. Sharing is
right.
fun.
Right.
Sharing is caring.
Yes. And then you get, okay, so you have flower, you have edibles, you have topicals. I'm going down the list here, sorry.
Yeah, no
so
problem.
we've got concentrates.
Yeah.
Concentrates. How do I explain concentrates? Dabs. Have you heard the word dab before?
Yes.
Okay, so dab is,
But like me, might need to explain it.
okay, so a dab is a concentrated amount of THC. So the best way that I can explain visual, I'm a visual learner, so please tell me if I'm just, screwing up this description, but women that use hair straighteners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you take a nug, a flower. I got visuals for you guys. Hold
on. Even better.
Okay, so I've got,
this is like science class now.
Yeah. So I've got, so say you take this nug, right? You take this baby nug and you put it between a piece of wax paper or parchment paper. Okay. And then you put your straightener, your hair straightener, and you squish it and you squish it and you squish it and you squish it. And then you get this gooey golden color, like ooze. Makes me think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ooze, not as like neon color, but I mean like that image oozing onto this parchment paper. You can then take like literally a rice grain size of that and hit a rig or a contraption that you use to smoke it. And you are that is a concentrated amount of THC. That right there is, you take like this is a 25% THC flower. If you take this and you take that concentrate and you smoke it, you're smoking almost double.
Oh, wow.
The amount of THC in one rice grain size. So
it's quick and it's fast and it's powerful.
Powerful is a good word.
Yeah. Yeah. Powerful is a great word.
So definitely not for beginners.
No, I definitely would not suggest that for a beginner, because that also, like anything else that you consume when it comes to something like this, your tolerance does rise inevitably.
Sure.
It's slower, maybe in certain areas. Flower is like your base. CBD is kind of a little bit below it because you don't really have a tolerance to CBD. You know what? I shouldn't say that. Some people might have a tolerance to that. And then you have your concentrates where it's like double, triple that. And it's, you can take 3 or 4 dabs in an hour and people still can't feel any type of high, I should say. Yeah.
Wow.
Those are the stoners.
Wow. Okay.
I'm a functioner, so.
the big difference.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I mean,
wow.
that's also what's going to be found in cartridges.
Okay.
So cartridges are a concentrated amount of THC as well. So this is what we would consider a 0.5 gram cartridge. They also make a full gram, and I've also seen a 2 gram cartridge.
Holy shit.
Huge thing. Yeah. Huge. For a beginner, the only way that I can describe using one of these is you have 2 pieces. You have the battery and you have the weed. Yeah. Obviously, simple, screw on the cartridge to the battery. If I can actually do it. Jesus. And
easier said than done.
There's a button that you press, and you press and hold. It depends on the battery you have. Some are auto draws where you just inhale and it turns on. Depends on the battery that you purchase or whatever. 3 hits of one of these is like smoking half a joint.
Okay.
All right.
Okay? So it's if you can kind of tell like the consistency and the potency difference. So this would be considered like 3.5 grams of flour, which would be like an eighth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you're saying the different sizes. In my mind, I'm going, okay, it just holds more. It lasts longer, but when you draw from it, you're drawing more.
Yeah, I usually don't tell people to literally inhale more than 3 to 5 seconds because of the reasoning. Like, you're gonna hear the cough. The way they burn at such a higher heat that it burns the back of people's throats.
Yeah.
So I always suggest, especially to new beginners, when you use one of these, press and hold the button, let it hit for 3 to 5 seconds, and then take your finger off the button and then inhale. It's not as hot. Yeah, that's my little trick I found with these. But you also have stoners that carry these around, and they can go through one of these in a day.
Yeah. You know somebody who can. I'm telling you that right now. You know somebody who can. It's not me.
I know, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I know it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, right.
Does that pen have? I know the pen that we have at home has like multiple heating settings. Like if you push the button,
Yes.
so that you can burn it hotter or whatever.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So also the different types of cartridges they have. So we have live resin, or we have distillate cartridges. They're just different forms of extraction processes, but the actual liquid or fluid that's inside can be thicker in some cartridges than others, which is where you would use that heat setting difference.
Sure. Okay.
So the thicker the oil, the higher temperature you want to go.
Gotcha.
And I believe this one has the 3 different heat settings, but it's pretty simple. You just press the button 3 times.
It's like putting in a cheat code on a video game controller.
Exactly. That reminds me, I was
what?
playing Mortal Kombat earlier, and I'm like, wait.
When you buy cartridges, will they tell you which heat setting you're supposed to use them for optimal performance? Or
So there's the large variety of dispensaries or stores out there that sell them, and it really, if they don't, excuse my French, but if they don't know their shit, they're just gonna sell.
Sure.
Okay, so for me, I have been lucky enough to work in both a recreational store dispensary as well as a medical store.
okay.
The difference is exactly that. Those who purchase from a recreational store are there to most of them are just there to get high, and we just sell it and sell it and sell it. And how they use it and consume it, that's on them.
Sure.
When it comes to the medical side, I like to have this consultation of, this is how you use this. This is what you should do. When it comes to these, yes, I would have first timers who purchase a cartridge from me. I'd walk them through the entire process, setting it up, charging it, heat settings, all of that. If you are using it for medicinal purposes, for alleviation of pain or anxiety or whatever your ailments are, being educated is going to help you the best when it comes to cannabis, because cannabis is such a wide variety of different things that people get so confused, so overwhelmed. So when you take that extra time, you can see it in the patient or the customer's face, and they're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Thank you. So they get a little bit more happy about their purchases, especially when it's so expensive. So
well, that's a good point. Yeah.
So what is the difference between dabs and vapes?
Vape, cartridge, dab. 1 second. So I'm just gonna throw out this like little promo hitter real quick. There is a company called Hemper. They send out these beautiful monthly boxes to me. This one, can you read it? It says Das Boot.
Nice.
Boot.
Nice.
I'll show you the pipe. I have it ready.
Oh, nice.
So this is what you would consider a bowl. This is where you would put your flour this is a bong, right?
Yeah.
Now you take this, and you take this guy out, the little bong guy, and you put in, sorry for the rustling, this is called a banger. So this is a little bucket, and this little bucket is where you would put that concentrate that I was talking about. So that little dab, you put it in here. Before you put it in here, you take a blowtorch and you light this blowtorch until it turns bright red.
Okay.
Okay. And then you take it off the heat, turn the blowtorch off, wait until it turns black. Believe me, it's still hot. I've burnt my ass so many fucking times. And you then throw the dab in here, and it will literally just dissolve into a vapor, and it'll go inside here, and you will just inhale that smoke.
Oh, wow.
That's the difference between. So this just makes this whole process that much easier.
Sure.
Got it.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that.
But your typical vape pen isn't going to hit you as hard as a dab is going to.
It depends. It really depends on the type of flower that they use, the extraction process. I mean, we could get really down to it. If you put butane in this instead of like another chemical to extract, it's gonna get you higher because you're actually inhaling butane in too. So that's a health class.
Yeah. We're going deep. That one's
right. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I would suggest those who are interested in the very beginning of cannabis, smoke a joint.
Yeah.
See how it makes you feel. If you don't like the head high, go to edibles. Edibles are going to be more of a body high, less head high. I eat edibles and I clean my fucking house.
Yeah.
The minute I tell a patient that, they're like, I like that. I'm like, okay, guys, that's, and obviously when it comes to any of that, go slow.
Yes.
Go slow. Do not take in a whole joint by yourself at one time. Do not eat. The starter dose of an edible is suggested to be 10 milligrams.
No.
Some people, you can feel it at 2.5.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the person. Every patient I have ever come across when it comes to edibles for the first time, you get a journal or a piece like a notepad and you write down how you feel before you take it, when you took it, how long it took before it activated, on a scale of 1 to 10, the pain or the alleviation that it gave you, and also how long it lasted. From there, you'll be able to find what I would consider your dosage. For me, I used to be able to take 25 to 50 milligrams and still drive my car all day in California traffic.
Wow.
Now, I can barely do 15.
Sure.
Oh.
Things have changed. Yeah.
Yeah, things change.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really, again, it depends. Your body changes. That's another thing. Cleaning out my system has really helped with the tolerance breaks for like all of that. CBD also helps to lower your tolerances over time to everything.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Should we take notes? No.
I'm trying to store it all away in my head.
Right?
I'm not sure.
It's all recorded. We're good. We can take notes later.
Yeah, that's true.
I do have a tendency to talk fast because it's something I'm very passionate about, because if you're not doing it right, you're just getting stoned. Most people, they try edibles for the first time and they get fucked up and they're like, I'm never doing that again. It was the worst trip of my life. I'm not doing it. If you just do it right, it will be, I get giggles all the time because of it.
And the other thing that I had is the first time you're going to do it in a safe space with friends that you know are going to be good to you. And because my first go around, and we'll talk about this on another one of these, but was way too many milligrams on an edible. And if I hadn't been amongst good friends, I would have lost my shit. So
you're surrounded.
We only teased them a little bit.
You can take more, you can't take less, right?
Yes, seriously, exactly. You can never take less. But if you are ever too high on an edible or you're too high on any type of flower, I have a story. When I was delivering cannabis in California, I smoked I think it was a joint or maybe a cartridge pen, something. And I was high, but I was waiting for my next delivery. Literally 2 minutes after I finished, it was my turn to go and deliver. And I'm like, fuck, I can't drive like this. So I actually took a packet of sugar, like a sugar packet that you put in coffee.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just downed it like a pixie stick. And within 10 minutes, it was like, boop, I'm ready to go. Like my brain clear. fresh cracked pepper does the same thing.
Okay.
So
wow,
fresh
okay.
cracked pepper or sweets. Every time I give like I give myself or a friend of mine one of my edibles, I always tell them have some ice cream nearby. So if because not only the cottonmouth, whether you consume flour or edibles, it's there. It's always there.
It's there.
So ice cream is great because it's cold and it makes you like salivate, but it also has the sweetness to kind of mellow everything out.
Nice.
Okay.
It's just a good excuse to have ice cream in my freezer. I like it.
Yeah, it's a great munchie too. Yes.
Yeah.
So with that analogy, if when you're putting it in, baking it in chocolate or brownies or caramels, does that sweet make those not hit you as hard?
So that sugar in there actually pulls out the weed attaches to that fat. So sugar fat, it attaches to that, and that's actually what makes it work better, as opposed to balancing out as a like you don't feel it at all kind of feeling.
Okay.
So that's why we make them in sweets.
Oh, okay. So okay.
Yeah.
There's a reason for everything.
Make them in sweets, not pork chops.
Yeah. I mean, there's times where the old recreational store I used to work at, they had this thing called cannabis. Not cannabis. It was this syrup. And I got the chocolate one. They had a whole bunch of different flavors. Lemon, raspberry, watermelon. I'd put it in ginger ale, like as like a after work drink. And I'd get high. It was like a 200 milligram bottle in like one of those small cough syrup bottles.
Yeah.
But I had the chocolate one, and I put it in my coffee in the morning, take my dog to the dog park. By the time I was done at the dog park and got home, I was lit. And I was like, let's do this. And I would actually take it. But yes, the sweetness in there kind of counteracts each other. But at the same time, I would put maybe a quarter of the bottle at a time in my coffee. So that's why.
Wow. That's nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to it. You got something?
I do have another beginner stupid question.
No stupid questions.
Just stupid people that ask them.
There you go.
Back to the flour. So you have or the nugget, I should say. Now, normally you would break that up and put it in a bowl, correct? So
yes.
How do I say this? So your nugget's this big. If I break off different chunks and use them different days, could that same nugget be different potencies, or is like that whole nugget going to be the same? That makes sense.
That's a very, very valid question. So when you are touching the flour, so like I just did with touching this flour, if you look at the flour closely, so thankful that my dogs do not eat weed. Trying to see if you can see it's kind of hard to see.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Isn't she? So this is called Gary Poppins. This is Mary Poppins' husband.
Okay. Nice.
But there are things on it that look like crystals. They're trichomes, terpenes. That's where all of terpenes also give you those effects. So when people say like mango has the same terpenes as this certain flower, it's because they share the same myrcene terpene. So if you've ever heard the saying, mango actually, if you're smoking and you have smoked and then you eat mango, it actually intensifies your high. It's because the terpenes are working together. So say you touch the nug, right? And you just break off a piece. It's kind of blurry. Sorry. It's all going to be roughly around whatever the percentage on the bottle or the container is that you purchase. If you're buying it from your plug with a fanny pack out of his car, it's a little sketchy as to what exactly the percentage is altogether.
Sure.
We don't need nutrition fact stickers on marijuana like we do food?
Honestly, I don't even know if marijuana has calories, but yeah. But in this case, when you touch it and you get that sticky feeling on your fingers, that's your trichomes, that's your terpenes. That also has its effects on you potency wise. So the more of those on your flour, the better, which is why I don't like to physically handle my flour like this. I just like to put it inside the grinder, grind it up, and then I toss it on a tray, and then I, pack my cone or whatever, or I pack my bowl. I barely like to touch it because I like to get all of those terpenes.
Sure.
Oh.
But if you keep it in an airtight container, you will be able to keep the potency. the longer it stays in something like one of these, like just a regular pop top, it will eventually get air in it and it will dry out.
Okay.
Then you can kind of lose its potency. Not a lot, but over time, like it's kind of funny. I actually have this one. It says weed for edibles on it because I've had it for so long.
Okay. Sure. Sure.
So it's dry. It's dry as hell. But when I go and put it in my machine to make edibles, the potency's still there because it's more concentrated. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It
So
makes sense enough. Makes sense enough to know that we're gonna have to have an episode about that. It makes it,
I'm telling you, I need a whole episode on just edibles.
Yeah, right.
I will school in a second. No, I'm kidding.
Awesome.
Yeah, but honestly, I would say as long as you keep your flour in an airtight container. Another way to keep your flour, if you ever buy flour from a dispensary or a plug and it's super dry, the one trick is to put an orange peel, not an orange with orange in it and the peel, like just the actual peel itself. Put a small piece of it inside of your airtight container, and it actually brings that flour back to life.
Oh.
It gives it moisture.
All these good tricks too.
Right. I know. I'm gonna learn as much as everybody on this thing. I'm excited. So
I mean, most of this stuff is just from experience, I would say. I mean, and all the stuff I've learned from working at the 2 different stores has really done nothing but benefit, my cause.
Yeah.
But I really do. I really think that if you can educate yourself enough, you will have the best experience. So.
Yeah.
But,
and I'd like to at the end of all these things, we emailed a little bit with the woman from the Last Prisoner Project, talking about having her on the podcast. So I'd like to kind of finish up all of these things and make sure we plug them and tell people to check them out and take a look into that, because it's a good cause. People shouldn't be sitting in jail for marijuana.
No.
So,
hell no. And especially when there's way worse things out there.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So thank you. I think we answered one question out of the 4, and that's fine.
But it's worth it.
That's fine. I think this was a great episode. It kind of encompassed all the stuff that for beginners. Now nobody can, now we kind of all know where we're coming from to, for the next one. So we kind of know the basics. We're on our way. So we'll get into some more stuff and come back for episode 2.
I'm so excited. This was great. I love sharing this knowledge with everybody. So I'm really thankful that you guys are, allowing me this platform to speak.
Oh, no, you're allowing us to learn from you now. Yeah. Not at all. This is awesome.
I love this. I really hope you enjoyed John Wick tonight. And I hope here's a tip. If you ever, I know it's been out for a while, but have you seen Avatar, the newest one?
Not the newest one. No. Let me guess where you're going with this.
You need to smoke before you do that. You need to eat, you need to smoke, you need to dab, whatever it is that's up your alley, you need to do it because it was phenomenal.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
I've seen so many TikToks or so many Instagrams stories about when they see it, and it's they got all these lights around them.
Right.
It's a real thing. It does happen in the movie, but when you're high, it's
there you go.
I was having a blast.
I love it.
That's great.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'll go see that. Well, you have to bring some with you. It's a 3-hour movie, right? You got to keep.
Oh, I did. Yes, I did. So it was, yes, you definitely have to prepare, but it's worth it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love it.
Pack a fanny pack.
Yeah.
Yes. Pack a fanny pack, pack some munchies. I mean, shit, we might have even taken a cooler. So.
That's perfect. All right. Well, have a good night. Have a good high.
Thank you. You guys too. Enjoy, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks again so much.
Night, Ashley.
Bye.
Bye.